because of how strict and firm they can be, but I think I understand why they are the way they are. So when you go to the BOG website, you could just be looking for approved fintechs or licensed fintechs, and the list is there. If a brand is not there, it doesn't necessarily mean they are illegal. That's also the caveat of it. It just means that they might not have a certain level of control and power as they may be claiming in the marketplace. They probably might be riding on the license of another operator. So there are quite a number of ways you can get into the fintech space and not necessarily have to raise that 2 million Ghana cedis or 5 million Ghana cedis or 8 million or 21 million Ghana cedis. You can actually build one or find a brand that's actually doing things very well, but they have a parent that they're operating under. And back again, it's up to you, the one about to download the app, to verify, are they under a parent or are they fully regulated by BOG? Because if they are not, the problem is that, God forbid, if your money was to go into their account and something happened, nobody can help you. In fact, for even those that were regulated or are regulated that have gone under, it's not an easy peasy road to get your money back, no matter how big it is, whether it's 100,000 or 500,000 cedis. It's not easy. So it's important to try and find the ones that are regulated with BOG. Yeah.
Right. Okay, we'll come to how to protect our money. But let's also talk about apps that are there for investment and personal finance. By personal finance, I mean an app that can help you maybe save or budget, and then an app where you can actually invest and get some passive income. What are the apps that you think we should know about as Ghanaians?
So, President and Vice President, I think next time we should throw a bet to these brands. They should pay. I'm mentioning their names for free. I don't like that. So
I think we need to know. So.
Yeah, I know. But you see, let's not underestimate this platform and these microphones. The recordings will be there for a long time. Mm-hmm. And funny enough, you see, I'm saying this because I've been part of a lot of BOG meetings. And today we will sit here, we will mention a brand's name. We are not saying they'll go under. Only for them to go under, and videos from PIWC becomes a testimony or a testament or an evidence into promoting the brand, hence leading to over 1,000 people getting scammed or becoming victims. So as part of the whole regulatory policy and all of that and the way we operate, we are very careful to mention certain names and not to mention certain names. In fact, we try to resist it. In fact, if there's a microphone like this, we try to avoid it. But we know some of them. Achieve or something is one of them. They are Bamboo. They've got some Robin Hood and things. All of these things, they say they do what they do. Let me say it that way, so I'm exculpated from this if anything should come up. And you see, I speak this way because float management is one of the things. I don't know their full status to even talk about their servers and how they built it. So when we sit to talk about these things, we are very careful whose name to bring up and whose name not to bring up, because you and I were not there when they were setting up their servers. When they were either loading people's money into the banks or getting certified by BOG or not. We don't know whether they've renewed their licenses for ISO 27001, 2013, or the 2021 version. We don't know. So it's very tricky. So please pardon me if I'm not mentioning too many brands. I think it really comes down to you, the person, doing your research and finding out. Obviously, behind the scenes, and I will plead, we can share my number at the end of the session. If you're in doubt of any brand, feel free. I do pro bono and help people out of scams, help people retrieve their accounts, help people get their monies back. I just love to do that away from the cameras. But I think the brands I've mentioned, you can check them out. If you're also not sure about even the ones ones I've mentioned, just go and Google alternatives of, and you put the brand name there. There is always somebody out there who has indexed about 15, 24, or 30 of them. Then you go on with your research from there to be sure about that. Yeah.
Okay. So since we are protecting the names,
Yeah.
how, as youth, will we identify if the app that we are considering to say invest or save with is a good app?
I think there are a number of things. Number one, and one of the promises I gave you in my slide, we didn't go by the slide. After all, slides are supposed to be a guide, but I'm loving the questions. Is that I promised myself this session will not be technical. But since she's asking, maybe I'll mention a few technical stuff. A few.
Well, things that we can look out for.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Surface.
So if you heard of any brand, one of the things I'll highly recommend is, number one, Google its name. Just Google it. Google it, and you can ask questions like, so I'm going to say XYZ brand, because I don't want to use any brand's name.
Fair.
So you can say, is XYZ brand a scam? Just Google that. Or how legit is XYZ brand? By all means, if there's something somewhere, it will come up. Yeah, it will come up. And mostly I recommend, if you're not sure, go through about 2 to 5 pages of the Google search. Whatever has to come out, you see it. Then app reviews is very necessary. Don't underestimate it. I know some of us might think, oh, this person is saying this because they don't want the app to do well. Yeah, there's that too. But please check the app reviews. What are people saying about the app? Sometimes it's not directly related to the risk or potential fraud or scam, but technical issues. What the app is doing that someone doesn't like and all of that stuff. Take a look. Then in your browser, one very important thing which some of us might underlook or somehow not pay attention to is the platform showing certain bona fide credentials. Number one is it SSL protected? So I mentioned a technical word. I'll try and break it down. The whole point is in your browser on the, since I'm sitting here, I'll point here. So top left corner of your address bar, we should be seeing some element of is secured or is safe and whatnot. It's very important so that you know that right from the first inception of where you are signing up, you know you are protected. Because it's very difficult. We used to have a flaw in TLS 1.2, forgive me, a technical word, but it's been fixed. Now TLS 1.3 is very firm. It would take you maybe 3 or 4 supercomputers to breach that, and there's no motivation, so you are safe. Yeah, so check and make sure whatever service you're about to use, you have the protections. Then the credentials of whether they are insured. So is a brand showing anything on their webpage that says that they have a guarantee or a guarantor backing, whether with their local central bank or some parent bank that is vouching and signing for them right on their website to say, if anything goes wrong, we are insured by this particular brand, or we are covered and regulated by these people. It's very, very important. Then, of course, if you are still in doubt, one of the things I would highly recommend is during your sign-up process, or when you download the app, if you're seeing things that you didn't expect the app to have, so they might do a splash without your approval, and say, go and watch a video and come and earn 5 cedis. Yeah, be careful. Because you see, when you come into the fintech space, we don't have time for those gimmicks. The regulators don't allow for these things. So if someone is already doing that, it could be a red flag. Then if you are asking you certain information or requesting for certain information almost immediately, it's a problem. So why are they asking for your birth certificate immediately? Or why are they asking for certain major information which is not related to a KYC or a KYB process? So KYC is basically know your customer. The regulatory policy mandates that for certain limits of transactions, we are supposed to know who you are. It's very important. So we can do anti-money laundering issues and ensure that whoever is transacting is not a PEP, we call it politically exposed persons, a terrorist, some person whose name by extension to about a fifth or 10 layer is an affiliate to some ISIS or some terrorist body. We're able to find that. There are tools that we use. The LexisNexuses and all those tools are there, so we can find out. Now let's come back. If any of these apps is asking you, give me this information, you should find out how necessary is this before you actually go ahead.
Information like what?
So fundamentally, KYC is majorly done with either your driver's license, your passport, your national ID, which in Ghana will be your Ghana card. In Nigeria, it could be different. They have IBAN and stuff like that, whatever. But let's talk about Ghana. So if you went there to any of these apps, and almost immediately from day one, they are asking for this, sometimes it can be very fishy because they are supposed to, in most cases, just allow you to have access first to see that the service works and check things out for yourself. It's more of a term in law relating to let the buyer beware of a sort, to just give you access to see, does the app work? Does it do the basic things that it's supposed to do and everything? Before they then ask you to provide your information. So depending on also the KYC provider, you might end up doing a video scan of your head, stuff like that, to show that you're not a robot, you've not picked somebody's picture to come and use and stuff like that. But please make sure you are wearing a shirt. Some people do this thing, they are not wearing any top. But they think they are in their rooms doing this, nobody will see. Don't trust all this information you are giving. Protect yourself, right? So your ID information and stuff like that are things they could ask. They might even require, don't blur it, don't block it, don't put anything to cover it. It's part of the process. If you block it, the KYC tools in most cases will not work because we need the numbers through, we call something an OCR. Object character recognition. So by putting your card there, we point the camera to it, can pick all the details, including your facial, biometric features, pass it through the algorithm, maybe through AWS recognize, forgive me, technical words again, and check, is it Kwajo as he is? Linking that image to what is on the ID and what came through the system and stuff like that. There are some instances where they request for a bank statement, but I think I have only seen that for clients or regulations for raising limits to very high levels where they need to know how has your transaction been before we allow you to do 1 million or 1.5. And I don't say this to brag. Some of us have like a limit of 1 million or 1.5 because of what we do, like per day. You would have to send your bank account statements depending on the KYC thing before you get a clear way. Normally, most of us will have 5,000 cedis, I think, for starters. You can raise it to like 10,000 a day or so. Again, depending on your MNO, which is a mobile network operator, or the type of bank account or account type you want to receive or send through. I hope this helps.
Yes, this helps. So, with the apps, I feel like we've spoken about apps in such a guarded way. So before we enter into the risk of, using these apps, can we talk about the benefits of using fintech apps now?
Yeah, so